Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Shamili and I'm gonna be doing Animal Crossing videos. If you like it, please like and subscribe. So I had this beautiful island and I decided to get rid of everything and erase everything. Yeah, instant regrets. But yeah, it's for the better. So here I am gonna be designing my entrance for this video. So as you're gonna see, I'm removing every bits of flowers, bushes, rocks, trees that were there. I already did like a big preliminary job, but a lot of flowers grew during the winter and I did not take care of this task during on my island. So here's me removing everything. So the idea for my island is to go for something very natural. I like the idea of like an abandoned forest or something like that that slightly got like colonized or civilized with like those animals and myself. I'm the only player on my island, by the way. But so this is what I want to go for. The dream I always wanted to have is like this river crossing my entrance to go to the resident service. But as you can see, my airport and my resident service are very close to each other. So I had a bunch of trials and errors before recording on where to put everything, following tutorials because I wanted like not a big bridge to cross to the resident service. But yeah, I started recording when I had a better idea on where to go and what I wanted to do. So here is me doing it. As you're gonna see, I'm terrible at aiming, so I'm always hitting and digging in the wrong spot. I'm very sorry for that in advance. Sadly, this is like a big problem even for games and Animal Crossing. So yeah, I'm trying to do that river. And then once it's done, I'm gonna remove the reference I put on the grass, and then I'm gonna go and select a bridge. Well, at least if my residents allow me to do it. But so here I am, I selected a nice suspension bridge. I think it's gonna go well with the aesthetic of like an abandoned forest and something like not really civilized. Next, I'm gonna build water that flows into my river, or at least the rest of the river. I didn't want it to be too big because it would be like really massive on the entrance and that would be an issue, at least for my eyes. I also want my island to be pretty walkable. I don't like waiting. I don't like going from one place to the other and like have to do my whole island tour. I'm a bit lazy in this way, so I want to be able to move freely on my island, and that is why you will see later in the video that I make sure that I can move on some spots. But here I am trying to build the cliffs and my water. I'm very bad at focusing on one task, so I went from cliffs to water and river building every time. So I'm very sorry if you don't like that. This is my brain processing information. So here I'm trying to make that river really round but near the cliff, and it kind of felt like I had to do a choice, like you have to do this or the other, and I did not like that. So in the end I tried to go and do it from the water and round my river because I like things being really smooth and roundy. I know sometimes you have to do like harsh edges, it's also in nature, but yeah, for this build I wanted to be like round and smooth. So here I am, I'm building the rest of my river, and I'm gonna make it flow from the cliff. Yeah, so for this, of course, I need to first build the cliff, which I'm gonna do in a minute. So here's an example of me trying to build an island that is walkable because I absolutely wanted to be able to access my beach from my entrance. This is handy when you want to do like some exchange from Nukazoon or other community. and I like also walking from my beach. So I was making sure that I could still access my beach from my entrance. So this is me again aiming in the wrong spot, but that's what I'm doing here. And then I had an idea because I realized I could jump across the river. At first I was gonna connect the two cliffs, and then I saw I could jump from the river across, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be like a hidden passage or something. So yeah, I wanted absolutely to have the ability to walk around, like go in between the two cliffs. So that was what I was going for. Then I was thinking, okay, what am I gonna do from the other side of the river? And this, I'm still not convinced about what I did here. So I wanted to have a river, but then if I want to go through the other, like I wanted my river to go inside the sea, but if I want to do that, then I'm gonna cut my island in a very ugly spot, and I don't like that. So I was a bit hesitating. Then I was thinking, okay, I could maybe do a bit of lake, and in the end I was not convinced. So I did a bit of river, and then I left the finishing touch for the future Shamily. So she's gonna deal with that and not my present self. So just after that, I went and took care of the other cliffs that I was working on. So here I am, starting to do this cliff, and then I wanted to extend, and in the end I decided not to go too far in the back, and my brain jumped in like, I cannot focus anymore, so I need to pay this bridge. I'm very sorry, this is how my brain processes information, so I need to do a bunch of stuff and go from one thing to another, and I have sometimes trouble to focus on one task. I was also not inspired because I had this idea of the river, but then I did not think about what to do around the rivers, and so this is a bit of a messy video because I was pretty sure I was not going to be able to build that river, and my resident service was going to be a problem, so I was not prepared to do this whole build. But when I went to pay my bridge, I was like, okay, this is pretty empty, and I want to have I don't know, either my river being bigger or some cliffs. So I was a bit indecisive, but I felt like this entrance was like very empty and naked. So this is me then trying to put a bit of flowers and bushes to try to fill the void of my cliffs. In the end, I will be not satisfied and I will extend my cliff. But right now, I'm trying still to put flowers, and I was thinking even a tree would fit and would help to put like a bit of consistency. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my tree in my hidden passage. I wanted to put peach there and could not find it, but in the end, it was in my inventory. So yeah, this is me being a dum-dum. But I'm still not convinced that this is big enough and that there is enough element, at least terraforming elements. So here I am building another cliff, realizing that then I need to extend the bottom of it, and that I need to clean again and get rid of my apple tree and my blue roses. So yeah, next time I will get rid of all of those elements and not do the cleaning in the meantime that I'm building also. But I was not prepared to do all that kind of job and building. Then next you're gonna see me struggling for a couple of minutes because I had an idea on what to do for my little cliff there on top of it. But of course I'm always like miss my aiming, and I'm also not counting properly and not realizing that my cliff on the bottom was a bit too short and I could not put a block there. So here's me like convinced I can still do it, or at least convinced I don't have to modify again what I'm doing. But yeah, in the end I realized that it could not be done in another way. Even there I cannot put my waterscaping, so yeah, I resigned and decided, okay, I'm gonna go and extend again the bottom part of it. Yeah, this was a bummer because I didn't want to make like a too big cliff. I liked the shape it had, but okay, if it's for the sake of a beautiful entrance, I'm gonna do it. So here I did extend my bottom cliff, and I'm gonna go and get rid of what I did before and extended the top cliff so it could be usable. Then I want to connect here my two little water stream, but again I had to extend all my cliffs. I really should plan more what I'm doing because I'm realizing like last minute that something is not doable. So whoopsie. And then I was like, maybe I could put a flower in that spot, and in the end, oh no, it's because of the waterscaping, it's not possible. But yeah, I had to try it for myself before being convinced of it. Then I connected my water stream to the other falling water that I had. And then I was a bit lost because I didn't know what to do with this part of water, and I still don't know what to do with it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna extend and try to do a bit of Bit Lake. And of course, I think her English name is Yuka, but she was always in the way. Like the whole video and the whole time of me building here, she was in the way and she was trying to fish and yeah, got angry with me, and I kept talking to her but like me not wanting to. So this was really annoying. And then I started to think, okay, I'm getting stuck here. I need to decorate before I can finish my build. I think I'm kind of happy with what I have, but I need to decorate. I need an object because I cannot visualize how it can all integrate. So I'm trying to put here my design code. I also need to do a big refill of my code because I'm getting tired of those one. Then, as you can see, I had to time travel to get rid of that little construction site for the bridge. And while time traveling, I also forgot to record, but I've put like some bushes and some fences, and then I was trying to decorate the top cliff. So I want to have a tree there, and then I was thinking, okay, I saw in a lot of videos that you could put a rock with a little butterfly on it, and this is so cute, so I was gonna try to do the same. But so yeah, in the end I ended up hating it. You will see that in a minute. So here I'm trying to find how to align everything with my butterfly, and then what should I do on the right side of the cliff. So I was a bit hesitant. I was like, maybe a bush would be nice. So here I am trying to put my bush on my cliff. Then I was like, okay, it still feels empty, what can I do? Can I put the butterfly behind the bush? Then I didn't like it on the rock, but I was like, clever idea, I'm gonna put it on the ground and it will feel like the butterfly is on top of the bush. And I was like really loving that idea, I was so happy. And then I was struggling on what to put next, because I loved that idea, but then I had to fill the spot where my rock and my butterfly was, so I was trying a bunch of different things and nothing was satisfying enough. So here's me struggling and struggling again to fill my cliff. Then I decided to go below and check how the view would be for like a picture angle, and as you can see, or I should say not see, you cannot see the butterfly on the bush. So I was so disappointed and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to my initial idea, but I don't know what to do with the rest of my cliff. So what can I do? What should I do? So this is me again trying to find the perfect alignment for all my objects. In the end, I've put that butterfly in front of the tree, and I think I stuck with that. And I did not use the rock there, but I used it elsewhere when I found it was a most perfect place, I think. And then I'm like, okay, but I miss like a bigger element on the right of my cliff, so maybe I can put the little panel. And then I was like, maybe it's too big, so I was hesitating and thinking very hard, what can I put? And then in the end I agreed, okay, I need a tall element on the right side of my cliff, and it could be indeed that direction panel, because then you arrive in the island, you see all the direction. And I agree, it makes no sense because it would be too high and too above in the air to be able to read it, but it's a game, you know, so you are able to read it and find your perfect spot. Then I went in the bottom of my cliff and started to decorate this. I cut it a bit because I was struggling with like the two same elements for half an hour. I was like getting really annoyed because I was not able to turn an object, and I kept on like dragging it, so it makes me go crazy. And then I tried with this new item we got like last month or 2 months ago, which I really love. It's beautiful, and I could not make it fit, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna abandon that idea and go back and decorate the top of my cliff. And I was not too sure what to do with the bush and the flower, and I wanted to have this idea that the water was flowing into the river, but then was going underground. So this is why I have a bush in the middle of the river, because in my idea the water is going underground. But I was not vibing also with the aesthetic and the element. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna decorate the top cliff. What can I put? And there I was like, okay, the rock seating, because I felt like it's a rock, you know. It's not to be like a seat or something you can put on top of it. It's just a rock, an extra rock on my island that you cannot hit, but yeah, it's okay. And I was like, okay, I want a tree in front of my bench. I wished I could have put them closer to the airport, not that close to the bench, but then I knew it was not gonna be able to grow, so I was a bit disappointed with that. And then I was here putting a bit of design patterns and putting the Easter elements we got, so a bit of leaves on the ground, and then the Easter bushes, which I find again so cute. I wanted to put something else there, but I never got the recipe, so I'm a bit disappointed, but that's okay. Maybe I will change it later. Maybe I will like forever the Easter bunnies. And then I'm trying to decorate the other side of the river. I know you must probably be hating that this tree is never gonna grow, but at the time of me doing the first trials for this video, I was still hoping that the sapling would grow there. And then I'm putting these little flowers. And I also don't want to put too much flowers, first of all, because I have like this trauma of my winter and the island being covered, like, well, I mean covered in flowers. So I'm here putting a bit of leaves and grass, and then also design patterns to like stop the flowers from growing whenever it rains, and be able to control what is happening on my island. I'm telling you guys, I really got traumatized from this winter. But so yeah, I'm decorating, putting flowers, and I'm trying to find also what would fit there. So in the end I went from design patterns. I try to vary and not always have the same. I will download new ones, especially that now we have like all those spaces of design patterns available. So I will download new ones for the rest of my notes. But for now, I was sticking with the one that I had. So here I'm trying to put grasses. But I saw in some videos that if you were trying and trying and trying, you could have like different patterns of grass, but in the end I was not finding one that I liked, so I abandoned that idea. And also I don't want to have like too much tall grasses, so I abandoned this. I've put some flowers and then design patterns again to like limit, and you shall not grow flowers. But I not liking it. It was too much in one spot. I'm also thinking like, yes, but if I'm running around, I'm gonna be like killing my flowers all the time, which is also a bit sad. So here I'm trying to check like, okay, what's the view? Do I like it? Is it good enough? And I figured like, okay, I need now to travel to see how my trees are growing. And as you can see, yeah, indeed, my trees didn't grow there. So after a bunch of time traveling, I put my tree somewhere else, and I was like, okay, it is gonna grow. And then I put it back, and then it did not fit. So I was like, I need a new ID. My trees are not fitting anywhere I had planned it, so it was a bit disappointing, and I had to find a new idea on where to put my trees and my saplings. But in the end, I think I found a good spot. I like it, and I replaced here with like some fence, like the vegetal fence, and I've put my sapling somewhere else. And I was liking it, and then I decided to redecorate this place because it was not to my liking. I've put the bench, and then I was like, okay, I need some design patterns, but I was not convinced on where to put it. So here I am, gonna be trying some places for my design patterns in front of the bench, and then I was like, this is not beautiful, but I'm gonna move the bench, and what if it's below? And I liked it, so I removed my patterns, my bench, and I've put them like there next to the river, and then I've put my bench on top of it, and then a bit of flower, and again some design patterns, but I think I was not liking it. So this build is almost done. The only thing I had to do is finish this part of the decoration. So I started by putting an apple behind my sapling because I wanted to stop some of them from growing on different stage of their lives, I would say. This is already a well-known trick. And then I finished decorating. So the main goal here is that I forgot I absolutely wanted to use green leaves pile. I struggled, like absolutely struggled to get the recipe for this one. And then now that I have it, I forgot I wanted absolutely to use it. So here's me trying to find the perfect spot to put it. And then I think I will be almost done for this build, and we will see the result in a moment. So here it is. I time traveled to be in daylight, so it could be a bit better, but here's my build. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestion, please comment. If you liked, please put a thumbs up on my video, and I hope I will see you again in the next video because I hope to post a lot of them. So bye!